For me.
Oh, and Mr. Payne is also joining it. Yeah.
Yep, I'm pulling him in, and so is Keith.
Great. There we go. Extra. Got a quorum.
All right, this meeting of the Thomas Jefferson Planning District Commission is being held pursuant to item 4.0-01 of the Virginia State Budget, Chapter 552, that allows public bodies to hold electronic meetings in the current COVID-19 emergency, and that it is impracticable or unsafe to assemble in a single location, and that the purpose of the meeting is to discuss or transact the business statutorily required or necessary to continue operations of the public body. This meeting is being held via electronic video and audio means through Zoom online meetings and is accessible to the public with closed captioning. And there will be an opportunity for public comment during that portion of the agenda. Notice has been provided to the public through notice at the TJPDC offices, to the media, website posting, and agenda. The meeting minutes will reflect the nature of the emergency. The meeting was held by electronic communication means, and the type of electronic communication means by which the meeting was held. A recording of the meeting will be posted at tjpdc.org within 10 days of the meeting.
Thank you, Sandy. All right. Hopefully this will be one of our last electronic means, but we're going to talk about that here in a little bit. Moving forward, we have matters from the public. Comments by the public are limited to 2 minutes per person. Is there anyone here from the public that wishes to speak? Any hands up? See nothing in the chat. I don't see any public at this time. Seeing none, I'm going to go ahead and close that and move on to comments provided via email or online. Sandy, do you have anything?
I do not.
We have nothing by access or communication via email or online. Moving forward to presentations, the intergovernmental review for the Housing Preservation Grant. I believe this is you, Charisse.
It is. So background, the intergovernmental review for the preservation grant is a grant that we apply for yearly for rural rehabilitation in the counties of Albemarle, Fluvanna, Greene, Nelson, feels like a Louisa. And we apply for it annually, but it's a grant that covers 2 years. So I'm going to share my screen. My intern David put together some lovely slides to go over the year in review of what we've accomplished in the past year. So, sorry, share screen. Okay, can everyone see that?
Can't see anything yet. Not quite.
Not quite.
Up there it is.
There.
You can?
Yep.
Okay, good. And I'm not moving. Oh, there we go. It won't. Sorry, I can't click down, so we're going to scroll down. So basically, this slide is showing historically what we received from the grant. In the state of Virginia, you can only apply for half of the grant. This year, the state is offering $323,190. So we will be applying for $161,595. 15% of that goes to admin, and the rest of it is a first come, first serve for the counties I named within the region. So this graph is just basically showing you what the full grant is, what the HPG grant that goes to actual rehabilitation, and what the admin is. And last year when we applied, there was a slight dip because usually only 2 people apply. Last year, 3 people applied, so all 3 got it. So next slide, and tell me if I'm going too fast. So this is broken down by the subrecipients who service our localities that use the area and how they use the funds. So for Albemarle, we have AHIP. 9 homes were rehabilitated over the past year using these funds. For Fluvanna County, it was Fluvanna Louisa Housing Foundation, and 10 homes were rehabilitated. Skyline Cap, Greene County uses Skyline Cap, and there were no homes rehabilitated during this past year. Louisa County also uses Fluvanna Louisa Housing Foundation. 15 homes were rehabilitated. And Nelson County is this Nelson County Community Development Foundation, where one home was rehabilitated. Next slide. So this graph is showing you our total for last year that we received, or for 2019, I'm sorry, 2019 is the grant that we're working off of. And we had $100,148. 64 individuals across Albemarle, Fluvanna, Louisa, and Nelson were helped. That was 35 households in total that were helped. And this is just the demographics of the area, of the people, not of the area, but of the people that were helped, excuse me, I'm sorry. The racial makeup, 34 Caucasian, 28 African Americans, 1 Native American, and 1 Latino. Very low household incomes. There were 50 that were in the 30 to 50% AMI range, and 14 that were in the 30% AMI range. And that's it, unless you guys have any questions for me that I can answer for you.
Does anybody have any comments or any questions for Sharice at this time in regards to the housing preservation grant? I don't see any. If not, I can only compliment you all for the hard work on the regional housing partnership. And of course, this is going to be a great in our efforts on answering affordable housing here in our region specifically. With that being said, we need an action on this resolution. So I need a motion to approve the resolution as presented.
Mr. Chairman, I will make that motion, sir.
We have a motion from Keith Smith. I need a second.
Second.
We have a second from Donna Price. With that, Sandy, I would like to call into discussion. No discussion. Great. Sandy, if you could do a roll call vote.
Yes, I'd be happy to. Mr. Payne,
Yes.
Mr. Stolzenberg,
Aye.
Mr. Galloway is not present, Ms. Price,
Aye.
Mr. O'Brien, Mr. Smith,
Aye.
Ms. Wilkinson,
Aye.
and Mr. Babiak is not on, correct? Okay. Mr. Barlow,
Yes.
Ms. Bishop,
Aye.
Mr. Herring,
Aye.
and Mr. Rutherford.
Aye. With that being said, the motion passes unanimously. Please reflect that in the minutes. Moving forward into new business, FOIA Code of Virginia. This is Christine and David. Take it away.
Okay, as you all know, we plan on July 6th to be transitioning our staff back to in-person and opening the TJPDC offices. And so as we were reviewing the code, the state of Virginia code, there was a provision that we noticed that we wanted to just discuss with you all as far as our public meetings are concerned, as far as FOIA is concerned. So I'm actually going to turn it over to David to have a discussion with you all about moving forward with that.
Thank you. You know, and along with bringing staff back next week with a staggered schedule, we've had a kind of operating policy that we've continued to look at and revise as necessary throughout the pandemic over the past 15 months or so. So we are actually looking at revisions to that correspondingly, would take effect or be implemented, with the return of staff next week. We've certainly been, trying to be conscious of COVID and how, knowledge about it and recommendations and practices have evolved throughout the time. And this is just another, I think, example of that. Throughout the region, I know that we have with our localities, our 6 localities, with regard to meetings, we have some that had, continued to meet in person the, entire time. We've had some other folks who have recently come back to having public meetings, and we still have 2 jurisdictions that will continue, through their local emergency declarations to have electronic meetings for at least a couple of more months. So, I think one of the things that we wanted you all to consider and discuss today, by talking about this section of the code, is, what the TJPDC, does moving forward as well. with our public meetings. This section of code 22.-3708.2 was amended during the General Assembly this past session. The changes that take effect on Thursday, July 1st. And I'm sorry I didn't give you a version in your packet that has line numbers, but if you look down at number 3 underneath that section of code, you will see, yeah, you could do that.
I'll pull it
Yeah,
up
thank
while
you.
you guys are doing that. Excuse me.
That there is a provision that was amended to allow any public body, and the new language italicized, it puts a provision that if the locality in which the public body is located has declared a local state of emergency pursuant to 44-146.21, then that public body can also hold meetings by electronic means. So, since TJPDC is located in the city of Charlottesville, the city of Charlottesville does have a continuing state of emergency declaration pursuant to that code section that remains in effect. Then TJPDC and its relevant committees that are public bodies would be allowed to continue to meet electronically. We can certainly continue to do that over the next couple of months. We would certainly continue to offer the provisions for public access and public comment through Zoom, posting the recordings as we've been required to do under the budget language that Sandy read previously. I don't think you would really see anything different moving forward that we haven't seen over the past year plus with regard to our meeting.
Other than that, it's just open to discussion if anybody had comments about that section.
I would have a question, Dave. You
Yes.
hear me?
Yes,
That
sir.
is, under these provisions, could I continue to attend the meetings electronically, which would save a 84-mile trip as opposed to driving up there and back?
You would not be able to, as you have done under the authority in the budget and tied to the executive order that is expiring. However, there are provisions in the FOIA law that allow individual members of public bodies to participate electronically for certain reasons. And that goes back to the policy that you all considered and voted to adopt at your June meeting, the meeting we had earlier this month, to allow members to participate if they have a personal matter, in case of illness, and then there are limitations on the number of times that you would be able to do that during the course of a year, depending on the reason for which you are asking to participate remotely.
I recall those. I just thought that if this went beyond that and allowed for you to attend without the drive, then that would be great. But it sounds like you still should only use that if you have a valid reason for doing it.
Yeah, again, it has to fit into those reasons that are outlined in the code, and then that is considered by the commission at the start of choosing to participate. But yeah, the budget language allowed participation remotely without any limitations, but that was tied to this there being a state declared emergency, and that is what is going away tomorrow.
Right. It's almost like we're back to normal. Oh my God.
That's normal.
Yes. So, so one piece of this is public participation, correct? And I don't know how we can continue to allow that. I think that would be a great option for many people in some way, fashion. And I don't think the means of that would impact us too hard, would it, Christine? Resource wise, I mean, it would be minimal anyway.
We can intend to continue offering electronic participation for the public, for all of our public bodies.
Yeah, and I think that's appropriate, as long as the code allows that. And what does the rest of the board think at this time?
Chairman,
Yes, sir. Chair.
I mean, I do agree with your comments. I know that, I think we had discussed that briefly at the first meeting in June. And I used to have 2 TJPDC meetings in the same month. And I know that Greene County is going to try to do that as well. We, our state of emergency, we passed a resolution saying it was ending this month. And we're going to try to attempt to actually have virtual access for our citizens as well going forward. So that'll be good. The question I have, so this resolution basically, if the city of Charlottesville has a state of emergency declared where they are meeting virtually, then the TJPDC can meet or should meet virtually as well. If the city of Charlottesville no longer has a state of emergency and they are not meeting virtually, then a TJPDC would meet in person, face to face, regardless of what's going on in surrounding counties. So the rule is that wherever the TJPDC is housed, that's the rule that we follow, which makes sense. The one question I have, and it's kind of getting down into the weeds, at one point we used to visit different localities to have a meeting. So let's say that, you know, we're going to Louisa to meet, and then Charlottesville declares a state of emergency, but we're not able to house or host a virtual meeting in Louisa due to electronic means. Do we at that point in time say at that point we do electronic meeting because we're housed at the TJPDC and we don't meet in person in Louisa? And again, that's getting kind of down in the weeds, and we haven't done that for about 2 to 3 years.
Right. So Charlottesville's expiration is when? On their,
I think that the council, we don't have anybody on from Charlottesville. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
Mr.
Mr. Payne is on.
Okay.
And correct me if I misstate this, but I believe the council will have to take some definitive action to end their state of emergency. I to the state of emergency is an ordinance that they have to allow for the continuity of government. And I believe that does have right now an expiration date, if you want to call it, sometime in October.
That answers my question, so I appreciate it. Thank you.
And this is Michael Payne here. So yeah, you know, the last we had heard from the city manager is that for the city, at the latest, that would go away the first week of September. But there is a little bit of uncertainty there that, you know, I don't think, it sounds like the city is not going to lift it as soon as possible once the governor's order ends, but there's not total certainty on what date it will be, but it will be longer than, you know, it's not ending tomorrow.
So we don't have a July meeting, right? So is this just really then about the August meeting?
It's August
Correct.
and September that it would apply to.
The September meeting would be before Labor Day weekend.
Yeah, first
Yes.
Thursday. of
Yeah,
September.
so-
Mhm.
so looking over here, did you say you had a resolution, or I was just reading the code, making sure there
There's no
wasn't?
resolution.
We don't need a resolution. It would just be, we're asking for direction from you all to make sure that that's a direction you're okay with us going to continue to meet remotely until about through September.
Okay.
And one staff concerns that have been brought up is since the city of Charlottesville and Albemarle County are not in person, a lot of our public meetings do require their participation. And so we were concerned about quorum in person and having them and here in person before they've returned within their own jurisdictions.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I mean, we'll have to pursue that direction then, I imagine, you know. Do we need, is there any actions? I mean, I don't think we have many options on that.
It's not required to take action. No, we could if you all wanted to, but it isn't required to have action.
So can I ask Christine what we should do? Should we try to recommend something for the August meeting right now today? We
Sure.
should.
Yeah, that would be helpful.
Sure. You know, I say, I just assume meet in person. I mean, I truly do. And this would create a means to allow Albemarle and Charlottesville to participate remotely, correct? Great.
They
Yeah.
would be able to participate remotely.
Yep.
You
All
would
right.
would be required to have a quorum in person.
In person. So we would need at least 7 people in person. I imagine that would,
You're not required to
would
have a
not-
quorum.
great.
This would allow us to be hybrid. So those that were interested in coming in person could, but those that wish to continue to participate electronically could do that.
Perfect. Okay. That sounds good to me. Let's do the hybrid. Any comments? Donna, do you have any questions? Yes.
Any questions, but I would just say Albemarle County, we are in the process of conversations on how we're going to, excuse me one second. We're in the process of conversations on trying to figure how we're going to go forward as well. And so I expect within the next few weeks, we will have something that we can say. Like every other jurisdiction and community, we have the same factors and considerations that TJPDC has. In the background, the one thing that is kind of catching my attention is the Delta variant and what impact that may end up having on us if we can't get to the vaccination numbers that we really need regionally. But that's sort of a wild card just sitting out there.
I hope not. Get vaccinated, folks, please. But anyways, if that's the guidance you need, we'll meet in hybrid. I do strongly encourage board members to attend in person if you can, if you're comfortable with whatever that might mean for you. And if you got to be virtual for the August meeting, we got it. Am I supposed? Are they going to have to give me notice, or me and staff notice? Nope. Okay. Great. But we will.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Rutherford. One of the things you asked me to do is to have Gretchen in our office start calling in advance of meetings. So we would have a confirmation of 1, that we have a quorum, and 2, who will be present in person and who will be electronic. So she'll continue to do that before each commission meeting moving forward.
Yes. Awesome. Thank you.
And if I can add to Mr. Chairman, we will continue to have, as Sandy did at the beginning of this meeting, we will continue to have that provision read at the beginning of the meeting, and we will cite the pertinent section of the code that needs to be cited in order to state that this is the reason that we are meeting electronically.
Got it. Perfect. All right. Does staff need anything else from us?
No, I sincerely appreciate you all being able to meet such short notice so that we can apply for the housing preservation grant. When we got the notice of the application availability and saw that it was due before our next commission meeting, we knew we wanted to try to scramble to get it done before the end of June, just in case we couldn't do it electronically. So I do appreciate your flexibility in that.
Right.
Christine, I do have one little comment on the first page of the pre-application. There's a number missing. It's page 414 in our packet, where it's talking about people served. It's like the second line from the end. 6 projects completing serving 42 people is what usually goes in there, but that's missing, the number and the word people.
Thank you very much for that. I got that noted.
Thank you.
Great. At this time, this is moving on from that. Other business, our next regularly scheduled meeting is August 5th. I will be attending in person. Dale, I think you plan on to as well, potentially, Vice Chair. So if you guys want to come, I really would encourage it. It'd be nice to see y'all. I hadn't seen y'all in a year and a half, and Dale hasn't left his office in over a year. I don't even know, how his sanity is at this point, but it would be really nice to catch up with everyone in person best we can, and we'll do proper due diligence wherever we need to. So beyond that, I need a motion to adjourn if there's no other business.
I will do that, Mr. Rutherford. Chairman.
Mr. Rutherford, yes.
We have a motion. Weird.
It's uncomfortable for all of society. We have a motion from Keith Smith to adjourn. I need a second.
Second.
Andrea, second. Andrea Wilkinson. It's not a competition. So all those, we're gonna do a motion by acclamation. All those in favor say aye.
Uh,
Any
Aye.
opposition? Hearing none, minutes reflect the adjournment was unanimous. Thank you guys so much. Excited to see everyone. Enjoy your month of July. Please go travel, enjoy some sunny beaches or mountains, wherever you want to go, or your backyard. And I do look forward to having an exciting meeting this August. See y'all.
Yes.
Bye, Jesse.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, bye.